Instructions? Who needs those? Holy moly, that's a lot of wiring. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Episode 21 of the Rail from Hell build. Today is a very monumental part of the build. Wiring. I don't know if anyone's done any wiring here on complete wiring of a car from ground up, but that's what we're gonna be doing today. I gotta put all of this stuff on here. Now I'm gonna jump back real quick. Cole helped me out yesterday because now we're kind of working solo back and forth with our busy lives. It's a very busy summer, so we're trying to squeeze everything we can in doing our own personal lives plus doing this and entertaining you guys. But let me show you what Cole did.
Okay guys, so you've been watching Craig go through and put this ammo can, excuse me, in to supply protection and housing for the air ride unit. He did mount the air compressor on the outside, which is going to keep it cool. Over here we have two more ammo cans. We need to have one on this side for the fuse box and the electrical distribution box, whatever you want to call it, on that side over there. We're gonna have this one over here for the ECU. They're gonna be kind of set up kind of like a saddlebag, so to speak, like in like on motorcycles and whatnot. But what we have over here that's a little different is we actually have to mount up the transmission cooler. So we're gonna have to take this and put it probably about here, so if you ever had to service that fan, you can get it to slide off. And then we're gonna mount this back here behind it. This is pretty traditional, pretty common for any kind of vehicle that you're gonna have them stacked up like this. This is actually dual fanned, so it's not gonna be any issues for cooling. So we're gonna put that there, and then we'll be able to find a better place to put this ammo can back here to keep it away from the exhaust and the header. But yeah, stick with it. All right guys, so I have now got all the ammo cans welded up. So now it's completely functional to throw all the electronics in and do kind of what Craig did over here for the air ride, for the ECU, and for the fuse box over there. They're pretty stout. I also made it to where you can still lift it up and still remove them like a ammo can lid. So that's pretty cool. The other side over here, the only difference is I did mount up the transmission cooler. So have all the brackets on for that welded up and all mounted, and I gave myself just enough room so that this can clear as well and still come off. So those are all wired up, or excuse me, those are all mounted up. Now Craig can get to all the wiring that he needs to do, and stick with it.
All right, so this box that you put here, I'm gonna house the Terminator X Max in here. This box over here is gonna be the fuse box, relay box, and PDM. So I got my work cut out for me today. Also, I would like to give a huge shout out to Jegs. We have a special link below, special discounts for you guys. Click on that link, it'll take you straight to Jegs. Let's get to it. All right, here's where I'm at so far. Got the Holley ECU mounted in this box. Got all the wires tucked into here, coming out of this side with a nice bushing around it to keep the wires protected. I'm gonna hide this display in here also because we want to keep everything up there as old school as we possibly can, so no digital fancy stuff. but it'll be fine back here as it is, and then you can actually unplug this and take it out as needed. I got the power running across here. I also had to take the ignition and negative from the ECU through the same exact wire, which Holley doesn't run it through here. And then the transmission, keyed source, brake switch, all that stuff, I also ran it through here. And one additional wire for the Holley gauge adapter, I had to pin it into the J1A connector, pin that in, and I also ran that through there. So I'm consolidating as much as I can. Now this mess here is going to be fun. So now that this is done, I know how my harness is going to lay down through here. I'm going to do a little bit nicer than it is right now, but I'm going to lay it in there as nice as I can and as short as I can, and then I'm going to have to consolidate all these wires to make it look nice, because it's universal, so it's kind of gonna fit different ways based off of different applications. So here we go. All right, correction, I screwed up a little bit. I just had to backtrack a little bit. 1 step forward, 2 steps back, you know how that works. So here's the mess I have going on here. So on the Holley harness, they have an in-out plug, so it's got a total of 8 wires. Then they have 3 more wires that I forgot about. It's been a long time since I wired one of these up. It's 3 wires, like fuel pump, tack, and something else. Anyways, instead of running them up and over the bell housing, I would like to run them all through the same exact loom as the power, because they're all going to end up in that box on the other side. So I pulled them out of the harness, I ran them back through here. I had to lengthen a ton of them. All these. So all these are going in the fuse panel. So I'm going to run them all through this one loom instead of multiple looms to make it nice and clean. So almost done with the ECU box, and then I can start on the engine. This is very tedious, so bear with me on this. Don't get bored. I'm trying to keep this as entertaining as I can, but I want to show you guys everything that's in this build, so that requires me showing you the boring stuff too. But it's not that boring. It's actually very interesting. So let's get to it. Hey, I just thought I wanted to, touch base with you guys. I know we're watching a lot of time lapse today, so let me show you where I'm at right now. See that mess? That was the injector harness. So this big ugly plug with all that extra wire is now coming off. And I'm gonna direct wire everything in right here. I'm trying to eliminate a lot of this wiring because it would be a huge bundle. I've already eliminated a ton of stuff that ran across the motor, and I've shortened them up. Like the intake air temperature was like 3 feet long. This fuel, I'm not sure if I need it yet. I think I might go ahead and get one anyways, get a fuel sensor on here. That way the ECU knows the fuel pressure. That way we can better regulate the injectors for the fuel. But that's where I'm at so far. Hopefully almost done with this engine harness, and then we can finally start wiring the car. Here we go. Alrighty, engine is 95% done. I still gotta mount the ignition coils, which I'm not gonna do today. I'm more concerned about wiring this entire car. But here we go. So this is as clean as I can possibly get this unless I spent literally days and days and days on this. But I have consolidated so many wires, it's incredible. If anyone knows what the Terminator X harness looks like before I started on this, they see how much I've done to it. But it's pretty dang clean considering there's not a lot of places to hide things on this car. Engine's completely exposed, so trying to hide everything is very difficult. I might try to find some wire loom that'll encase all of this as one. Instead of it looking like multiple wires, it'll be one big one. I think that'll look a little bit better if I can find something like that. But, sorry, thinking, talking all at the same time. Start wiring this thing. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run the wires from the alternator and the air system along with that same harness that's running down there, if you can see it, over to the other side, because everything's going to end up in that box as a junction point for this car. So here we go. All right, I'm gonna call it a day, but it's not the end of this video. It's gonna be 2 days worth of stuff. Been working on it 8 hours today so far, but here we go. So I got all the wires ran up to the front for the headlights and turn signals. All the wires ran up here for the gauges, key switch, horn, all that stuff. Got all the wires ran into the box. All the wires ran across from that side over to here for the fans and all that. Still need to wire up the tail lights, and then I gotta wire up the power distribution box. So we'll get back to it tomorrow.
Early the next morning.
All right, back. Day 2, early morning. Time to get this thing finished up on wiring today. At least get it all ran, get the relays and the fuses all established. Probably get the key switch and the gauges established. We don't have headlights yet, but at least all the wires will be ran. Don't have taillights yet, but all the wires will be ran. And then we'll be able to probably power up the ECU and all that stuff too today. So first thing I need to do is run another harness out here to the rear taillights. And once that's established, I can start on this. It's gonna be really fun. So hopefully someone can learn something from this, maybe even me. So let's get to it. All right, here's where I'm at. Check this out. So, got the relay and fuses, got some terminal boards. That way I don't have a whole bunch of butt splices in here. I can just, if I screw up, I can disconnect and reconnect however I need to. And then I have a positive bus bar and a negative bus bar. And obviously all of these are gonna be, the looms are gonna be cut back. So they're gonna be way more flexible than they are right now. I'm gonna have to map out how I'm gonna do all this. I also had to run a negative and a positive cable out of here, and then I had to run a harness over to the transmission shifting switch. I butchered that, I don't remember what it's called. However, there's a neutral safety switch in there and a reverse light, so all that's going to come into here. All that's ran. So now time to deal with this nightmare. That is a lot of stuff, and look how many wires I got here. All these. So I gotta hook all that up and give it some logic too. So that way, when you go to start it, all your accessories turn off. So you're only powering the ECU, and then once it's running, it goes back to accessory and ignition 1, and then all the stuff will work. And then also a neutral safety, so there's some logic in that. And fans, I gotta run the fans with the ECU. So here we go. So this is starting to look pretty slick, pretty clean. I should have done this to that car. This is a really cool way of doing it. I really like this. This box is probably a little too tight for what I'm doing, but you know, it is what it is with this car. It's so small as far as where to put things. And then I am labeling everything as I go. So I got color codes, everything, the terminal boards, who's what, and colors and all that stuff. So that way, when this is all said and done, if there's any troubleshooting that needs to be done, at least you're not lost on looking at the wires, because as a mechanic, you know, working on forklifts and stuff, schematics are everything. Like without them, you're pretty much lost because there's so many dang wires, kind of like this. So I'm gonna keep cracking at this thing and we'll get her done. All right, everyone, it has been a long day. I tried not to bore you guys too much with the time lapse, but like I said, I'm trying to make sure you guys see everything that we do. So here we go. This is where we're at right now. I need to get some more fuse holders for some of these heavy gauge wires that hook to this positive bus here, because a lot of this stuff is let's see, here we go. So we got ignition, accessory, main, lights, fan. So this is basically all the normal stuff on a car. And then everything over here is added stuff like air ride system and stuff like that. So those have to be tied into the bus with additional fuses. There wasn't enough room in here to do 2 of these. So this is why I'm doing it the way I did it. But this turned out pretty clean. A little bit bigger box would have been better, but this was my first time doing it this way and it worked out pretty well. Definitely more planning next time, which would have helped out. But I'm gonna end it off there, guys. I am exhausted. I've been working on this 2 days straight, so I put in 16 to 20 hours, somewhere in there. And then Cole worked on it on Friday. We're trying to get this thing knocked out, so we're basically working double time on this. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and check us out next time. Thanks, guys.